I'm totally gonna be out of a job. When the spring 2023 semester started, university headmasters all sent out messages about how to handle this new tool that has been compared to the invention of the internet and the iPhone. So how smart is this thing really? Are language teachers going to be replaced with these large language models? What's up everyone, this is Rita, aka Fan Laoshi, your excellent coach and Chinese teacher. Today I'm asking ChatGPT the most frequently asked Chinese learning questions, including some really tricky ones, and I'll rank its answers on a scale of 1 to 10. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any Mandarin learning tips that you won't find anywhere else. Now let's see whether ChatGPT has all the better answers than human teachers. The first question is Chinese hard to learn? I see. Okay, number 1, writing system. Okay, that's accurate. Though I wouldn't say learning characters is difficult. It's just different, and it takes time. And point 2 is tones. A tonal language. That's a good start, right? And then grammar. This is mostly right, but I don't know if I agree that word order can be flexible. There's definitely a standard word order in Mandarin Chinese, and the exceptions that we would hear and use are more about applied language than grammar. So like bring up the object at the beginning of the sentence as the topic of the sentence. Like 那个苹果他吃了。那个苹果他吃了。And once learners reach a certain level of input in your learning journey, you start to grasp this sort of thing on your own. And there's always the grammatical language versus how native actually use the language, right? Then vocabulary, it doesn't make sense, right? Of course, you need to learn new words. Isn't that true of any language? But it certainly isn't the hardest part of Mandarin. And the last one, cultural differences. Sure, but what is the impact it's talking about? So in Mandarin Chinese, the hardest part or hardest phrases are those they don't have a direct translation, right? So like 成语 or phrases that really make sense in certain context or the situation, like 没办法. And the more examples you hear, the easier it becomes. Well, I think this is a solid 8 out of 10. And these are pretty good factors, though I definitely put tones as number 1. Without tones, you'll never be well understood. Let's make a conversation. So, looks like a lot. Where should I start? Then, that's a lot. Okay. So number 1 is choose a dialogue. There are definitely a lot of variations even within Mandarin Chinese. So to be clear, standard Mandarin / 普通话 is the standard language. And learning 普通话 will definitely help you to differentiate sounds, dialects usually not pronounced so clearly, if you don't have a specific accent or dialogue to use with locals. Alright, so number 2 is pronunciation. Good. I mean, anyone who has watched my channel for a while knows why I am here on YouTube, right? I've even created an entire course dedicated to improving your Chinese pronunciation. And right now, 80 plus students are honing their tones and all the Chinese sounds with me every day in our 3 months bootcamp. Check out the link if you want to speak natural and clear Mandarin too. Tutors are great, but like any other language learning resources, not all tutors are created equal. And this video tells you how to pick the better ones. Let's move on. So, point 4, study grammar. Why is verb usage on the list? I mean, verb isn't as essential in Mandarin as it is in other languages, like in Romance languages. I would have put like particles and verb complements on the list ahead of verb usage. Right, and point 5, practice listening and speaking. Okay, I love that this is its own point. But to be clear, not all Chinese music is that helpful. I'd argue some Chinese rap songs are definitely the music to use. Remember, learning a language takes time and effort. Be patient with yourself. Oh, okay. Ending is so encouraging. This was a good answer. 9 out of 10. But I gotta say, I've been pretty nice to ChatGPT so far, okay? And let's make things a bit more trickier. What is the third tone in Chinese? Oh, okay, so the third tone is one of the tone Mandarin Chinese with the most the dialogue of Chinese. Yeah. The third tone is a low tone that starts low, dips even lower, and then rises. Well, this answer has a lot of issues. First of all, it still calls it the dipping tone. Come on, the third tone is just a low and flat tone in natural speech most of the time. And you reach to your vocal fry point, and you get there immediately. There's no falling and definitely no rising. The only time this tone might dip is for emphasis, but most of the time, it's just low and flat. For example, the Chinese word for hello is 你好, 你好. And this word was 你好, have the third tone. They don't even mention the tone change for the third tone. Then why pick that example? This answer is 2 or 3 out of 10. Strike one, ChatGPT. So since it gave that example, how about what is the rule for Chinese tone changes? Right, in Mandarin Chinese, there are 4 tones and a neutral tone. There are a couple. The most common tone change rule is the third tone. Okay, good. Finally, the first third tone changes to a second one. They bring up the changing third tone. But in real life, this can get a little bit more complicated when there are more than 2 third tones in a row. Because sometimes we'll change the first 2 and sometimes we just change the second one. And this is why I have a specific lesson about this in my course that walks you through all of the possibilities. And 一起 is pronounced as 一起. No. We wouldn't change E to the second tone here. The tone of E and 不 only changes to the second tone when they are paired with a fourth tone syllable, like 一个 or 不是. There are also other tone change rules for specific combinations of tones. For example, when a fourth tone precedes a first, second, or third tone, the fourth tone often changes to a neutral tone. What? A neutral tone is never at the beginning, and there is no tone change for any tone to a neutral tone, period. It's important to know that not all combinations of tones result in tone changes. However, mastering tone changes is essential for improving your spoken Chinese and being able to communicate more effectively. And this is actually a topic a lot of students or even teachers don't focus on enough. But sorry, that's strike 2, ChatGPT. I think this is solid 2 out of 10 answer. I'm feeling pretty good now about my job. Let's see some tricky sounds. How are ch and ch different in Mandarin? One pronunciation. The ch sound is a wordless alveolar palatal affricate, similar to the ch sound in English word church. Okay, this sound, on the other hand, is a voiceless. If you are going to teach people, you better use easier language. Allow me to translate. To pronounce ch, your tongue touches the roof of your mouth and then leaves when pushing the airflow out of the mouth and push it harshly. But the biggest difference between ch and ch is the tongue position. So your tongue curls up for ch, not curl back, but just curl up. The tip of tongue goes down and behind the root of your bottom front teeth for ch, ch, similar to the ch sound in the English word cheer, church, cheer. If students use this answer, they'll never be able to differentiate. But my audience, you know better. 拼音 official the ch is represented by the letter Q. These are useless, right? And the third tone, what? So both ch and ch can appear in words with different tones, so the tone of the word is not a distinguishing factor between these sounds. Consonants like ch and ch in Chinese are voiceless, and that's why we put the tone marks on the vowels. Sorry, this is a 0 out of 10 answer. Total failure. And maybe let's get into some grammar. And I think you know which particle. What is le in Chinese? And the Chinese le is a particle that has multiple meaning depending on its context. Here are some of its most common uses. Okay. As first one indicating a completed action. Oh, okay. So this is already better than most Chinese teachers on social media. Oh, I don't like this example because we would actually just say 我吃饭了. And point 2 is indicating a change of the state. Good. And this is another great point. But the answer, change, 变, is a verb, right? So when 了 is indicating a state of change, it goes way beyond an adjective. Even a negative sentence can use 了 at the end to indicate a change in state. Like, 他昨天说要来，可是今天来不了了。他昨天说要来，可是今天来不了了。Point 3 indicating a past event. It's here we see that the data ChatGPT collected, it's super confusing and self-conflicted. Let me say this again. 了 is not a past tense marker. So point 4 indicating a new situation. Isn't this the same as the second point? And this has nothing to do with a noun, a pronoun, or any specific type of words. Where did you get this from, ChatGPT? And the last one, indicating a softened tone. And I think one thing that needs to add here is that 了 is found in a lot of fixed structures, like 太什么什么了 or 就什么什么了. I guess this answer is a 5 out of 10. A strong start that totally fell apart in the end. These videos I made 2 years ago will help you a lot more than this will. Let's try a funny one. Can I learn Chinese while sleeping? I'll sum this up, okay, even more swiftly than ChatGPT. No, you can't. Honestly, I only asked this because this question comes up a lot in Google searches. Believe it or not. And a 10 out of 10 answer. Do I need to learn Chinese characters? If you want to become proficient in Mandarin, I highly recommend you learn Chinese characters. That's right. The Chinese writing system characters, which are words, concepts, used in both written and printed forms of language. But the first point is on point. Glad to see it emphasizing the importance of written communication and understanding, okay? Meaning and pronunciation of the words, okay, understand them can help you better understand the language as a whole. Impressive. And 3, cultural appreciation. Chinese characters are a unique aspect of Chinese culture, and learning them can give you a deeper appreciation of Chinese history and art. I gotta say, I appreciate this answer. And that being said, learning Chinese characters can be a significant challenge for many learners, as there are thousands of characters to learn, each with its own unique shape and meaning. However, with dedication and practice, it is possible to become proficient in reading and writing Chinese characters. I mean, sure, but really most Chinese words are 形声字. If you study radicals and learn to see the information in them, Chinese characters will become a lot easier to learn. This is 10 out of 10. Oh, but there's an important question. Okay, I'll learn characters, but do I need to handwrite them all? So first one, memory reinforcement, write on, and recognition. Recognition by practicing written characters by hand. You will become more familiar with their shapes and strokes, which can improve your ability to recognize them. I'm not sure about this one. I know a lot of teachers and students believe it and approach learning Chinese characters this way. I just feel like repetitive handwriting practice can also lead students to focus on the details too much. But we want students to see and recognize the Chinese characters as a whole. Because I had a student who worked in Beijing and insisted on handwriting all his paragraphs. And when I asked him to switch to typing them up, his paragraphs just improved so much. Not only did he save a ton of time, but he focused more on his language usage rather than, how to write each character. It really depends. Calligraphy, sure, it's not for everyone, but if you are interested, just go for it. And that being said, in today's digital age, it is also possible to communicate in Chinese using pinyin, handwriting recognition software, or typing Chinese characters on a keyboard. However, handwriting Chinese character can still be a valuable skill to develop. Glad it mentioned pinyin here. Everyone needs to get a hand of pinyin and pronunciation when it comes to writing nowadays or typing. And really, the time you spend handwriting characters over and over is usually much better spent honing your pronunciation. And to be clear, I'm not saying all Mandarin Chinese learners shouldn't handwrite Chinese characters. It's quite the opposite, especially at the beginning of your language learning journey, because it forces you to look more closely at the characters and their components. But once you've trained your eyes to notice those things, typing saves learning time. And it also helps students learn characters as a whole. So really doing both is the way to go. I'll give this a 9 out of 10. Maybe it's time for this question now. Do I need a teacher to learn Chinese? Having a teacher or tutor can be very helpful for several reasons. So 1, provides guidance and feedback. A teacher can provide guidance and feedback on your progress, helping you identify areas where you need improvement and offering suggestions for how to improve. Well, that said, ChatGPT, and a teacher can provide a learning system as well that includes learning materials, tools, methods, and support that help you form good habits and helps with pronunciation. Well, in a perfect world, every teacher could help with this opportunity to practice speaking. You can technically speak with any native, but what professional teachers do is to down-level words and the sentence structures to the student's current level and help you practice more effectively. And the final paragraph, while it is possible to learn Chinese without a teacher, having a teacher or tutor can greatly enhance your language learning experience and help you make faster progress towards your goals. Well, maybe we should say having a good teacher or tutor can greatly enhance your learning experience, whereas some just keep giving bad suggestions. And you can check out this video. But for now, I think I and other qualified Chinese teachers are safe in our jobs. What GPT-3 can do now is basically to repackage the information it has, and that can be so confidently wrong, especially when we ask factual questions. I love the way one of the students in my course group, who is a natural language process and machine learning pro, summed this up. It doesn't have knowledge of anything, and any judgment or analysis you ask it to provide are dangerous to trust. You can learn the critical thinking skills required to do it just from learning what words are most likely to appear nearby each other on the internet. But there are some more specific tasks that ChatGPT can help you with in your Mandarin Chinese language learning, for sure, if you ask the right questions. So let me know how you use ChatGPT to learn Chinese, and if you want to find out more about it. And remember, with Fan Laoshi, Chinese makes perfect sense. See you in the next video.